Hey, Shabbat Shalom, Yasharala. Peace be into the nation of Israel. From out of modern day so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, expected Israelites being the Israelite foreigners, scattered across the four corners of the earth, including within America, Babylon the Great, the main place of our captivity. And we are the most high Yahweh chosen people of the nation of Israel. All right, so without further ado, as always, in the Lashon Kodash being the holy tongue, as in the Paleo Hebrew, being the ancient Hebrew, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and infinite honor to my power, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whom is God of the living, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Baruch Rash, which is our praise to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, in the name of his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, and the Holy Spirit, who is our strength and our Redeemer, and our light and our salvation. In the same tongue of Adamashana, Kabawadium, Lahasaquanium, Shal, Gadawara Kab, many double honors to the apostles and elder bishops, great millstone, and Shalom honor salutation to Bayah, Shadawada, the 144,000 elect governing body, the house of David, along with the rest of the 1/3 elect men, women, and children of Israel. All right. Spell servant Malak Rayash back at it again with another video through the spirit of prophecy, being the testimony of our Lord and Savior, Hamashiach Habashai, who the masters of the world ignorantly refer to as Jesus Christ. And the title of this lesson is All Novices and Zealot-minded Israelites will be destroyed as in times past, because as it says in Ecclesiastes 1:9, there's nothing new under the sun. Okay, which also confirms reincarnation. Okay, of individuals. That existed in times past, whose whose spirits, carried over, were to carry over within within continuing generations, within different vessels, as in these chains of darkness, these human bodies you were trapped in, further indicates that is certain tendencies that are done now, are some of the certain tendencies that were done in times past, all right, specifically in the case of these Zealot-minded Israelites, operating within the spirit of a zealot, of a novice, upstart, a naive, unwise upstart, who operates off of their own merit, that uses the truth, as a justifiable reason to justify their madness, whose efforts will get the ministry further blamed, including these clowns that went viral as of recently on behalf of the believers of the Way Camp. There's another wayward camp, t-shirt, another wayward t-shirt fringe wearing camp, that recently reposted a video from about a year ago on a page on their channel, on so-called President's Day, all right, where they are seen burning a flag, which, even though that's not unlawful by way of the Mosaic Law or Esau Edom's bylaws, is still not expedient to indulge in activities such as this that could be considered as extremism, case in point, or radicalism, just like the zealots of the nation of Israel over 2,000 years ago were guilty of. You have zealots, they have the same zealots that were reincarnated, indulging in the same, unwise activities, that would be considered terrorism, all right, to further blame the ministry, So I'm going to play a few seconds of this clip. It's on the elder priest Mahaloya out there in KC, or you could subscribe and be edified of the channel GMS KC Prophets 3, all right, which I had actually seen this video after the initial video I saw on this these believers of the way reprobates burning that American flag on the elder Mayaka Allah channel down there in Dallas. All right, it's further influenced me to do a land back video on this, going into the history of the Zealots, and to further emphasize the vanity, and to further expound on the vanity of being in the Zealot state of mind, or a carnal mind, which is enmity to the Lord, as it says in Romans 8 chapter. All right, enmity is in hatred. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start this. Go ahead and play this video. Salakia, I'm going to unmute this.
Day in representation of our constitutional right of freedom of speech and freedom of protest. Today is so-called President's Day, but we don't take honor in this day because this nation and this flag does not represent our people. Our people have been victimized. Our people have been killed by the police. Our people have fell victim to high imprisonment and false imprisonment. Our people have been victimized in over sexualization of our women. And we take a stand against this flag that we're supposed to pledge our allegiance to, but we burn it today. We burn it for all the lives that was lost of our forefathers and our foremothers when they came across on them slave ships. We burn it in representation and in love of our people, to stand up for our people, because this flag does not represent us as a people. We burn it for all our Latino brothers and sisters that have been victimized and raped and done wrong by this so-called nation, this hypocritical nation, this nation that is built off of hypocrisy, because this nation is supposed to stand for freedom and justice and equality, but all we have is imprisonment, we have abuse, and we have been given murder and fed lies. So today we take time to honor our people, from the Trayvon Martins all the way to the Emmett Tills and the Sandra Blands and the Corey Gaines, to burn this flag for our brothers and sisters.
So you can clearly see this reprobate here. I call it's like you have the Believers of the Way camp, another a wayward T-shirt wearing camp. This guy here, okay, of that camp, what I call Little Bow Wow, burning the U.S. flag. Is a fucking reprobate, because it's the same guy who said that who spoke against the 2/3 being reincarnated in the kingdom of heaven. Okay, and that would make the Heavenly Father a liar, because it says so in the second Ezra, the 5th chapter, I believe, that no one loves, roughly paraphrasing, no one loves Yasharallah more than Abunah Yahweh. So by him, this same guy here burning the U.S. flag, saying that the 2/3 are speaking against the fact that the prophecy of the 2/3 to be reincarnated through the loins of the elect in Revelation 20 chapters, calling Heavenly Father a liar. Okay, and this is and it's further confirmed. And then you have him on camera with this other guy here, this other Jake, burning the goddamn U.S. flag, man. Okay, which is a further display of novice behavior. Okay, because they're not operating off of the standard of the scriptures, but you're really Yahweh Shai, because Yahweh Shai will not condone these actions of carnality. All right, so I'm going to briefly go into the history of the Zealots, and Shabbat Shalom to Akim, tuning in, Yahweh Shema Mashag Abishai, Barkatan, to the Ak, Aziala, and Amraya. All right, and on all those in attendance are those who and those who will be in attendance. All right, and Adam Ratas ought to be edifying to the elect. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with this information here on the King James Bible, the online King James Bible of the 1611, all right, original, the original version of the scriptures. Okay, this version is closer to the ancient scrolls. So this is a section of the online on King James Bible Online.org of Zealots. Okay, all right, and it says a sect of Jews, Israelites, which originated with Judas the Galanite, and it's not talking about Judas Iscariot. It's talking about a different Judas. So I'm going to go ahead and further substantiate in a different article. Okay, but it says a sect of Israelites, which originated with Judas the Galanite, all right, pursuant to Acts chapter 5 and verse 37. It says, whom refused to pay tribute to the Romans on the ground that this was a violation of the principle that the Most High God, Yahweh, by Shem Yashai, was the only king of Israel. They rebelled against the Romans, but were soon scattered and became a lawless band of mere brigands. They were afterwards called Sakari, okay, from their use of the Sikha, i.e. the Roman dagger. And this is why it's not a coincidence as an Israelite group, okay, another wayward Israelite camp with wearing t-shirt, a t-shirt fringes, all right, because when you see a Jake with a t-shirt fringes, that's typically a red flag that man is a reprobate and a novice, okay, because just over the through the fact alone of having wearing a t-shirt or fringe t-shirt is reprobate behavior, because that's like exhibiting uh, you know what's the term I'm looking for, over righteousness, okay, It says in Ecclesiastes, be not over righteous much. Okay, because it speaks about that in Romans the third chapter. You know how we're not gonna Fred establishing the fact that we're not going to be saved off of just solely keeping the law, statutes, commandments. Okay, and these are the same guys that can't take rebuke, but yet a good number of these guys, okay, especially these t-shirt wearing wayward camps, okay, hate rebuke, okay, because they're um because they have not been rooted on that solid foundation of his truth, which is really Yahweh by Shem Shai. Because if you have faith in the Lord as he's written, okay, including calling the names of the Lord, the true names of the Lord as is written, you'll be following sound doctrine of the entire word, okay, by consuming that entire roll, okay, of the sweetness, all right, including the joy, which is symbolic of the joy of learning that we are Israelites within his book of remembrance, okay, and also acknowledging the bitterness aspect of the scriptures, which is symbolic of the persecution and ridicule that we would get for upholding and proclaiming and declaring righteousness in the earth. So with that comes a territory being persecuted and ridiculed and hated, as Yahushua was hated. So when you're in that spirit, you don't care to indulge in folly such as this, for burning a goddamn flag. And these are the same individuals, Salaki, that recently made a response video to us for getting on them on that. The elder Mayaka Allah had uploaded here. Okay, so I'm gonna play a few seconds of that video momentarily. But we'll go back to this information. All right. Actually, what I'm gonna go ahead and segue over to this next article. It says, "Who are the Zealots?" The name Zealot was first used by Josephus to describe the militant Jews and the Israelites in a war of 66 to 70 AD. However, the designation has come to be used of all who rebelled against Rome, and these men were filled with zeal, okay, which is simply just means passion, okay, or a passionate desire to such intensity that they would fight against any threatened institution or the ideology. All right. It says they clung to the Torah, the Torah, okay, as a foundation of all things and resisted any foreign rule. All right. It says Simon the Zealot was among those disciples whom Yahushua chose, pursuing St. Matthew 10 and 4. Okay, though the Zealots were sometimes called the first tierists. Okay, not all Zealots were violent, but all the Zealots desired to forcibly remove the Roman government from Judea, and if it took violence to do it, so be it. All right, because to expound on this point that was made in the last part of this paragraph is that being a Zealot is not a bad thing. Okay, but when you're a Zealot in error, operating off of left-hand energy of the enchantments of this world, mainly carnality, okay, you're operating off of the vibration of a novice. Okay, case in point. All right. So with that, I'm gonna get this last article to Fred expound on that point. And it's entitled "The Bible Story of Simon the Zealot." All right, disciple of Hamashiach, and it's not talking about Simon Peter, okay, Apostle Peter, okay, or rather Simon the Zealot, one of the 12 disciples, okay. So it says Simon the Zealot, okay, was one of Yahushua's disciples. He was also a former member of a radical sect of, okay, Israelite patriots committed to overthrowing Rome. They explored the story of Simon the Zealot in the Bible and how the story relates to Hamashiach. Let me jump down to the point in this paragraph here. Okay. Under the section, what do we know about the Zealots? So I'm gonna start here. It says the historian Josephus describes 4 prominent groups in first century Judea. They were the Pharisees, okay, which were otherwise known as doctors of the law, like Apostle Paul, okay, who was also a Pharisee. It says, okay, so it says the historian Josephus describes 4 prominent groups in first century Judea. They were the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the Essenes, and the Zealots. The 4th group, which Simon the Zealot was affiliated with was the Zealots, the most politically minded of the Israelites. Okay, because case in point, this notion here, or this exhibition, okay, of folly of burning the U.S. flag, okay, is nothing more but just another political movement, okay, to oppose the government, which is not of the simplicity of Hamashiach in terms of just following the standard of scriptures, but of preaching the gospel, okay, doing the works of an evangelist, okay, by bringing this word, delivering this word to the gates of Jerusalem, okay, within these chief places of concourse and the highways and hedges, where Yahushua commanded us to preach, okay, to bring these good tidings, okay, otherwise known as the gospel, to Yasharallah, to Israel, okay, that the kingdom of heaven is coming and to warn our people to repent, okay, and to also prophesy against Mount Seir, okay, the Edomites and these other heathen nations, okay, to declare their destruction by the hands of the Messiah, Yahushua. So this act here, this display of folly is not of the simplicity of a Mashiach in terms of doing the works of an evangelist, okay? All right, case in point. So going back to this information, this article, it says, who were the Zealots exactly? According to historical accounts, the Zealots were a notorious sect of Israelite patriots who sought to overthrow the Roman occupation, often through violence, terror, okay, and political intimidation. Okay, so once again, this is no different, okay, than political intimidation, of a political open act of, political expression, okay, to the devil, in which politics is of Esau devices. Okay, case in point, that we don't need to indulge in because these are devices of the world. All right. So because this is what these protesters and so forth indulge in. Case in point, including them so-called radical protesters over there in so-called Middle East and Western Asia on behalf of Ishmael and Elon. Okay, they indulge in activities such as that. All right. So it says in their case, the Zealots were more known for their hatred of Rome than anything else. It was this animus toward the Roman occupation of their home that motivated the Zealots to become violent extremists with an insatiable passion for liberty. All right. It says, however, their zeal for country. Matter of fact, before I go to continue, let's go ahead and get this here real quick. Romans 10:2 says, for I bear them record that they have a zeal of the Most High God, Yahweh by Shemeshai, but not according to knowledge. It's going to further explain why that is. All right. Before I go ahead and explain that, before I go ahead and get that, let's go ahead and get the word zeal and the Strongs in the blue letter, okay, which is of the entry G2205 for the word zeal, which is the Greek word zelos, okay, which means excitement of mind or fervency, okay, which a synonym of that, okay, is passion, okay. So going back to this article, it says, however, their zeal for country and hatred of Rome, a zeal they believed served the Most High God, Yahweh by Shemeshai, were often misguided and misdirected. Okay, and this is no exception here. Like such as burning the U.S. flag. Okay, this is a further public example of a public display of misguided. Okay, misguided and misdirected zeal. Okay, and ignorance and folly. Okay, and over righteousness. Okay, by seeking to creep up through the sheepfold, the door, Yahushai, into the kingdom of heaven a different way, except for the standard of doing so. Okay, by following what Yahushai told us to do, and Yahushai never commanded us to do that. Okay, because really, to commit, political intimidation acts such as this, because this can be considered treason by these devils. Okay, in America, Babylon the Great. All right, you have these same wayward, reprobate novices who will call us scary for not indulging in their madness. Okay, calling us cowards like IUCPK, case in point. But I digress. Back to this information. It says, for example, the most extreme among the Zealots furthered their cause by attacking Roman soldiers, politicians, and even Israelites friendly to Rome. On a broader scale, the Zealots also put themselves on the radar of the Roman army by burning Roman targets throughout Judea. You can't make this shit up, man. What were they doing? Okay, they're essentially doing the same thing, burning another Roman target. Okay, a Roman idol, a modern day Roman idol. For America, the splitting image of the fourth beast system. All right, the pagan Western Roman Empire. All right. So says their founder Judas, not Iscariot, was himself a Galilean who had led a revolt against Rome in 6 AD. Not surprisingly, the Romans were wary of any potential uprising or prospective Messiah coming out of Galilee from then on. So jumping down here, here's the last part when I really want to focus on that says, like many of his fellow Israelites, Simon Simon the Zealot had probably grown up resenting the Roman occupation at some point in his life. The promise of revolution and being part of overthrowing the Romans became attractive. Okay, here's the point here. Like many of today's youth, Simon's political activism and passion for the cause gave him a sense of purpose and belonging. Okay, and this is a further public example / display of youthful exuberance. Okay, on the left hand side of folly. Okay, of unprofitable acts that is not edifying to the body, to the church of Yahweh Bashim Shai, all right, otherwise known as the Tabernacle of David. Okay, so with that, I'm gonna go back to the precept. Romans 10:2 says, "For I bear them record that they have a zeal of the Most High God, Yahweh Bashim Shai, but not according to knowledge, not according to the wisdom, the divine wisdom, knowledge, understanding of the scriptures. Okay, of the standard of the scriptures, which is Yahweh Shai." And that's why, Freddie speaks on that in the book of Titus, which I'm going to get real quick. In Titus, I'm starting verse 6. It says, "Young men likewise exhort to be sober-minded." Okay, let's look up this word sober real quick. It doesn't necessarily mean to be sober off of yayan, which you can also attribute it to that, but this is more so referring to spiritual sobriety, being circumspect of these times we're living in. Okay, especially within the next one of these next major prophecies of the famine of the word get ready to take place, where the devil is going to blame the ministry. So there's not the time, okay, to be indulging in madness such as this, that could further blame the ministry. Okay, so this is the entry G3870 for Salakia. Go back. This is the entry. Let me see if it. Yeah, G4993 for sober-minded. All right, I'll go ahead and let Esau pronounce it.
Strong's G 4993, Sophroneo.
All right, to be sober-minded. Okay, sound of mind, exercising self-control, which is temperance. This is not exercising temperance, man. This is going about, okay, one's going about to establish one, leaning on one's understanding to go about establishing one's own righteousness, as Freddie goes into in Romans 10:3. Okay, case in point. So that's not being sound-minded, okay, or sober-minded. So back in Titus 2:6, young men likewise exhort to be sober-minded. Why didn't it say old men? Because younger men are more impressionable. Okay. All right. And that's why a lot of the audiences, the congregations, these wayward camps are of the youth, younger Israelites, including silly laden women. Okay. So this is Titus 2:7. It says, "In all things shewing thyself a pattern of good works, and doctrine shewing uncorruptness, gravity, sincerity." All right. It says, "Sound speech that cannot be condemned, that he that is of the contrary part may be ashamed, having no evil thing to say of you." Okay, going into that good report. Okay, it says in verse 9, "Exhort servants to be obedient unto their own masters, and to please them well in all things, not answering again." Okay, then we're going to continue all the way down to verse 14. All right, so this is verse 10. It says, "Not prolonging, but showing all good fidelity, that they may adorn the doctrine of our power in all things." Okay, in all things, man. Okay, and not in bits and pieces. Case in point, Titus 2:11. All right, Titus chapter 2 verse 11 reads, "For the grace of the Most High God Yahweh by Shem Shai that bringeth salvation hath appeared to all men." All right, the men of Israel. All right, it says, "Teaching us that denying ungodliness and worldly lust, we should live soberly, righteously, and godly in this present world." Okay, it says, "Looking for that blessed hope and the glorious appearing of the great power and our Savior, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach." It says, "Who gave himself for us, that he might redeem us from all iniquity and purify unto himself a peculiar people, zealous of good works." Okay, this is not This is not an exhibition of being zealous and good works, rather, of error. Okay, that is not of the simplicity of Mashiach, the standard of the scriptures. Okay, but living in the scriptures. Okay, so we're going to continue in the book of First Timothy, chapter 3, and start at verse 5. Okay, because to be zealous of good works, okay, will require the fruits of the spirit, okay, including temperance, self-control. So this is First Timothy 3 and 5. It says, "For if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of the Most High God, Yahweh Bashem Shai?" Okay, so it says in verse 6, "Not a novice, okay, lest being lifted up with pride, he fall into the condemnation of the devil." Who's the devil? Esau, Edom. Okay, the devil, the self-proclaimed white man, the man of sin and son of perdition. Okay, so these guys are hypocrites for, okay, claiming to be Israelites, but then, um, you know, um, operating within the enchantments of the world, within the vibration of the world. Okay, including that the whole revolutionary patriotic spirit, like our forefathers did during the civil rights movement. Okay, on behalf of the Black Panther Party. Okay, representing the tribe of Judah, so-called Negroes. Then you had the American Indian movement of the tribe of Gad. You had the Chicano movement, aka Brown Berets. Okay, the tribe of Issachar. Then you had the Young Lords. Okay, the Boricuas. Okay, of the tribe of Ephraim. And all four of those groups were opposing. They were opposing the common denominator of all oppression, Esau, Edom, in a carnal way. Okay, through that revolutionary patriotic madness, and that's suggesting that we can combat the devil's blessing, being a sword, okay, which is military industrial complex, what it represents, against him with his own blessing. That's madness, man, because that's Esau's blessing. That's not the blessing of Yasharallah. Okay, our blessing is, the righteous inheritance. Okay, of being the chosen of the Lord. There's going to be further manifested through the second holy covenant. We're not going to have to indulge in acts like this of burning the U.S. flag, of radicalism and extremism considered by the U.S. government. Case in point. Okay, and by these governments alike, because we're not patriots, man. We're not, nor are we sovereign Israelites. Okay, we're servants, we're slaves. Just, what I'm saying, and on this side, and when we earn to be slaves to our enemies because of our transgression against the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Shai. Yes, you have these guys, believers of the way, okay, including little Bow Wow here, advocating for wicked niggas, man. All right, brute beast, degenerate plant Israelites, okay, such as Michael Brown, George Floyd, and when the Lord, sanctioned for the death of the 2/3 Israelites. So that's like intervening within the judgment of the Lord by advocating the judgment of these slain 2/3 Israelites when their deaths were justified for being wicked, man. For the wages, like it says in Romans 6:23, for the wages of sin is death. Okay, the more sin you accumulate, the more the closer you get to the grave, to the pit, to destruction, death and destruction, man. And that's why people are dying and continue to die, and more severely in 2025, man. So if you have wisdom, knowledge, understanding of scriptures, you wouldn't be out here doing shit like this, burning the U.S. flag. All right. But it's back in First Timothy 3:7. It says, moreover, he must have a good report. Okay, a good report of them which are without, lest he fall into reproach and a snare of the devil. Okay, snare means trap. Okay, so part of the snares of the devil, okay, is being demonized as terrorists. Okay, for indulging in folly and madness such as this, like the beloved elder priest Mahaloya said in his video, it's all fun and games, okay, while this current society is still functioning, okay, we still so-called have liberty to do what the hell you want to do, while they're still running water, gas, electricity, travel, okay, the liberty, including the liberty to get out there and prophesy against the wicked, which we're supposed to do that by way of the righteous standard. But even on the left hand side, when you have guys doing it on the left hand side, you still have the liberty to do that until that judgment comes upon you. Okay, in which if you're not covered by that mark of exemption, you're gonna fall into one of the snares of the devil. Okay, which is being tortured to death, man. Just call it straight, man. We're at a time where, it's time to really cut corners and just call a spade, man. We're getting close to the end, so we have no time for foolishness and folly. Okay, So you Jakes that indulge in madness such as this, you're treading dangerous waters, man. We're all supposed to be walking on eggshells, but you're really tempting the Lord, Yahweh Shemashai, by indulging in shit like this. Okay. And then when you get caught up in the jam, okay, facing heavy persecution and ridicule by Esau Edom, now you want to cry to the Lord. Okay. And he would not be willing to deliver Israelites such as that, and that novice, zealous mindset, a zealot mindset on the left hand side. So so I'm gonna go ahead and continue in 2 Timothy 4 and 5. I'm gonna grab that precept real quick. All right. 2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 5. And it reads, "Well, watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist." Okay, that's of good works. Make full proof of thy ministry. And you Jakes cannot prove that burning the U.S. flag is a part of making full is part of do the good works of an evangelist. Okay, that's actually curricular madness. Okay, that has nothing to do with our salvation because it's not expedient or profitable for our salvation. Okay, all right. So this is because why it's not edifying. It's going to get that in Ephesians 4:29. All right, Ephesians 4:29. It says, "Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers." Okay, so this is a corrupt communication. This is a corrupt communication, not so-called cuss words. Which a lot of you reprobates the circumcision, look to further demonize us for using socially unaccepted speech, aka cuss words. Okay, which is not forbidden in the scriptures. All right, that just further reveals the immaturity of a lot of these wayward Israelites. Okay, so going to continue in the book of Acts 5 and 34. All right, further going into the history of the Zealots. Okay, this is Acts 5 and 34. All right, the wicked Zealots. So Acts 5 and 34 says, "Then stood there up one in the council, a Pharisee named Gamaliel, a doctor of the law, had a reputation among all the people, and commanded to put the apostles forth a little space," because this is going to the account where the disciples, okay, who were going on to be called the 12 apostles, were persecuted, including Apostle Peter. Okay, and they were persecuted for teaching the name of Yahweh Shai. Okay. All right. And speaking against and prophesying against the wickedness of the pagan Western Roman Empire. Okay, and they were arrested for that. Just like that has happened on this side, going back to 2001 when that deadly event happened 24 years ago. All right, on the 11th day of September, the apostles often tell the story where they were arrested. And that's going to happen again. Okay, so if you're not rooted within the true foundation of scriptures, okay, you're going to fold like a cheap lawn chair, or when Yahweh Shemashai allows Esau to increase that temperature, okay, of persecution on us, okay, by going on a smear campaign through his AI technology, using these bots and age provocateurs to demonize us, okay. So anyway, it goes on to say here, Acts 5 and 35, and said unto them, "Ye men of Yasharallah, Israel, take heed to yourself what ye intend to do as touching these men." All right. 1 second, we'll light up these incense. Light back up these incense. All right. It says, "And said unto them, Ye men of Israel, take heed to yourselves." Salakia, 1 second. Salakia. It's Acts 5 and 35. And it says, "And said unto them, Ye men of Israel, take heed to yourselves what ye intend to do is touching these men." Okay. It says, "For before these days rose up Theudas, boasting himself to be somebody." And Theudas was another zealot. He was a carnal-minded zealot. It says, "To whom a number of men, about 400, joined themselves, who was slain." All right. So all these zealots, these 400 zealots that followed Theudas, were put to death. And that further goes into the lesson title, okay, of all novices and zealot-minded Israelites or zealots, okay, to be destroyed, like as in times past. Okay, so it says, but for before these days rose up Judas, boasting himself to be somebody, to whom a number of men, about 400, joined themselves, who was slain, and all as many as obeyed him were scattered and brought to naught. It says, after this man rose up Judas of Galilee in the days of the taxing, okay, and drew away much people after him. Now, once again, it's not talking about Judas Iscariot, it's talking about Judas, who was the leader of the Zealots. And we're going back to 6 AD, around 6 AD, that we read about in this article here. Okay, matter of fact, before I end this live, I'm gonna put all these articles in the comment section, for the elect to skim over, to be further edified. All right. But it says, after this man rose up Judas of Galilee in the days of the taxing and drew away much people after him, he also perished, and all, even as many as obeyed him, were dispersed. Okay. It says, and now I say to you, refrain from these men and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. And this is a council. This is a public display of a council of men burning a goddamn U.S. flag. Okay. That's a carnal-minded gesture. Okay, which is really, another form of validation from the devil, like protesting. Like it further goes into Lamentations 4:17. All right, how if I may get there real quick, right? Lamentations 4:17. Okay, Lamentations 4:17, and it reads, "As for us, our eyes has yet failed for our vain help. And our watching, we have watched for a nation that cannot save us." Why is that? Because one of the curses, and part of the curses is, okay, the representation, okay, representative rather of the eagle, okay, being Esau Edom, was to persecute us. It says here, they hunt our steps that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near, our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. Our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of the heaven. They pursued us upon the mountains. They laid wait for us in the wilderness, like they did in 70 AD. Okay, during that Roman persecution, causing the Israelites, mainly the southern kingdom, to flee to northwest Africa. Okay, within that mountainous region, Yahushua told us to flee to, which is the Atlas Mountains. Okay, when you do the research. All right, case in point. All right, so that further identifies who the lost 12 tribes of Israel are. Okay, by way of biblical prophecy, which is what secular history is filtered through. That's how we know this information is true that we read about in these articles, because it's filtered biblical prophecy, man. Okay, so it says, I'm going to continue and say Matthew 16 and 21. All right. Oh man, I just got notice of but Shatan, man. I just got a notice of a potential service outage during a so-called storm, and it's bright as day out right now. Okay, so just to give you Akim a few heads up, this stream might end up getting cut because of this so-called outage. But anyway, this is St. Matthew 6 and 21. All right. And we're going to hit the convo in a second. All right, the water for you, the water to Akim for the precepts. St. Matthew 16:21 says, from that time forth began Yahushua to shoot into the disciples how that he must go into Jerusalem, and suffer many things of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed. He's really murdered. What happened to Yahushua was the greatest and most terrible act of murder within the history of mankind. It says, and be raised again the third day. Read this again. From that time forth began Yahushua to shoot into his disciples how that he must go into Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed. It's like it, be murdered, and be raised again the third day. Okay, it says here, and then Peter took him and began to rebuke him, saying, be it far from thee, Adawan, Lord, this shall not be unto thee. But he turned and said unto Peter, get thee behind me, Shatan. Thou art an offense to me. All right, the Shatan, all right, Hebrew for Satan just means adversary. Why did he call Apostle Peter his right-hand man? Okay, King David reincarnated Shatan to his face, because he was being adverse to the will of Abba Nabi Yahweh through Yahushua to die for the nation of Israel. Even though his heart, his mind was in the right place, he was still being an adversary to the will of Yahweh Bashim Shai. Okay, so what less you upstarts, you young upstarts doing shit like this. Okay, so it says, but he turned and said unto Peter, get thee behind me, Shaitan. Thou art an offense unto me, for thou savors not the things that be of the Most High God, Yahweh Bashim Shai, but those that be of men. Okay, so with that, I'm going to grab this quick precept in Romans 13, verses 1 to 7 in the NLT. All right, so we go to the blue letter. I'm going to get that real quick before I hit the comment board. All right, Romans 13 and verse 1, and to get it in the NLT. Okay. All right, Romans 13 and 1. Everyone must submit to governing authorities, for all authority comes from the Most High God, Yahweh Bashim Shai, and those in positions of authority have been placed there by the Most High God, Yahweh Bashim Shai. Okay, so what Esau did, as I spoke about, the camp yesterday in Albuquerque, what Esau did is he used this and he flipped it in his favor to keep the minds of the slaves, the captives of Jerusalem, and in subjection, in full subjection, to slavery over us. Okay, during the segregation period, going back to Jim Crow era, even before that, the centuries before that. Okay. Anyway, it says in verse 2, so anyone who rebels against authority is rebelling against what the Most High God, Yahweh Bashim Shai, has instituted, and they will be punished. Okay, so that doesn't mean bow down before the beast system or bow down before these opposing governments of righteousness. Okay, mainly of America, Babylon the Great. It means be circumspect. Okay, as Yahweh Shai said. Matter of fact, I'm going to get there real quick. What's that precept? It's a Saint Mark. Bear with me, Baba Kashah. It's that precept where Saint Mark 12. All right, let's go there real quick. All right, Saint Mark 12, and let me see where I'm gonna start. Saint Mark 12, and I'm gonna start at there's a lot of. I'm starting at verse 9. Let me see. Salakia, jump down a bit. All right, Saint Mark 12 and 13. And they said unto him, son of the Pharisees and of the Herodians, to catch him in his words, as it says in St. Luke 11:54. It says here, St. Mark 12 and 14, and when they were come, they said unto him, Master, we know that thou art true and carest for no man, for thou regardest not the person of men, but teachest the way of the Most High God, Yahweh in truth. Is it lawful to give tribute to Caesar or not? And modern day Caesar, like a president or a prime minister, chancellor, so forth. It says, shall we give or shall we not give? But he, knowing their hypocrisy, said unto them, why tempt ye me? Bring me a penny that I may see, because Yahweh Shai perceived the hypocrisy and the craft of these niggas, okay, the circumcision, okay, of the leadership of Yasharallah Israel, that were looking to tempt him, okay, to try to entrap him in his words, okay, to accuse him of going against the Roman authority, because it says in St. John 11, around the 47th verse, that the whole purpose of that was for these devils of the circumcision of Israel to seek to not compromise their position with the Romans. You see that? So really, once again, this is really what they're doing. Believers of the way, they're advocating the Roman way, because this is what carnal-minded protesters do, which is really another form of validation to the devil's beast system. Okay, this is not advocating against Esau; it's actually advocating for Esau. Okay, begging his validation to lessen the affliction. Only Yahweh Shai can do that. He's not going to do that ultimately to the kingdom of heaven. So right now, because on this side we're supposed to suffer, man. Anyway, I digress. Back to St. Mark 12 and 16. All right, and it says, and they brought it, and he said to them, whose is the image and superscription? And they said unto him, Caesar's. Okay. And Yahushua answering said unto them, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to the Most High God, Yahweh by Shemeshai, the things that are the Most High God, Yahweh by Shemeshai's. And they marveled at him because he cut him. They thought that he was going to be on some revolutionary shit. He's like, nah, yeah, pay your taxes, man. You know what I'm saying? Unless you wind up like Wesley Snipes in this modern day time, man, for tax invasion. Okay? Be circumspect, in other words. They'll be in that revolutionary spirit. Look what happened to Theudas. You know, wicked forefather Theudas, the wicked Zealot. And him and his 400 Zealots got put to death for trying to fight Esau through his blessing, with his own blessing. And there's no way we can do that, because that's going against the authority that was spoken in Romans 13 chapter. So let's go back to that. Now that point has been established, let's go ahead and finish that back in Romans. All right, 13. I'm going to read all the way down to verse 7. All right. Let's go back there real quick. Slakia, I'm back in the blue letter. Romans 13 and 3 says, the authorities do not strike fear in people who are doing right. All right, this is Romans 13:3, continuing in NLT. It says, for the authorities do not strike fear in people who are doing right, see, but in those who are doing wrong. So really, these guys are in error in so many ways for seeking the validation of the beast system, okay, displaying a faithlessness by doing indulging in such folly, such as this, and really showing fear of Esau, the man of sin, son of perdition, instead of the man of war, Abba Navi Yahweh. It just speaks about Jeremiah 17:5. How we're not supposed to fear man. It's really a public exhibition of fearing man, as in the man of sin and son of perdition. All right. Back in Romans 13:3 NLT, for the authorities do not strike fear in people who are doing right, but in those who are doing wrong. Okay. Would you like to live without fear of the authorities? Do what is right and they will honor you. Okay, like it says in Proverbs 16:7. Okay, I'm going to grab that real quick. Okay, Proverbs 16:7. Okay. I'll be hitting the comment board momentarily. Okay. All right, so the water. All right, for bearing with me. And Proverbs 16:7 says, when a man's ways please the Lord, Yahweh by Shemeshai, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. And I can attest to this by my own personal testimony. About 8 years ago, there was I was preaching in front of the baseball stadium downtown, the Chihuahua Stadium, and a drunk Edomite came up with his son, and he was all in my face trying to antagonize me, and I didn't do anything. Okay, and then there was a young Eve Cop, and she looked good too. Okay, Eve Cop came up, and she looked at the signs in curiosity, and then proceeded to call for backup to arrest this Edomite. And this is a modern day Roman centurion. And she didn't, ridicule or persecute me for, preaching the word, accusing me to be a radical and extremist and all this, because I wasn't in that spirit. I was just simply out there doing the works of an evangelist, being a prophet. And I got rewarded for that by witnessing my enemy at that time to be apprehended and thrown into the back of a police wagon, man. A police car. You see that? So we don't need to be out there doing, lighting, committing acts of treason and extremism and shit. All right. So go back to Romans 13:4. The NLT says the authorities are the Most High God, Yahweh by Shemeshai's servants, sent for your good. But if you are doing wrong, of course you should be afraid, for they have the power to punish you. They are the Most High God, Yahweh by Shemeshai's servants, sent for the very purpose of punishing those who do what is wrong. And that's plain, man. See? Because these authorities are the weapon stick of Esau, his sword on the left-hand side, as it speaks about in Psalm 17:13, Ezekiel the 21st chapter. And if you're doing wrong, he will unleash that sword on you. Like that Jake that got pulled over, and he wasn't complying with the officer to get out the car. And then he had the audacity to call on the name of Yahweh by Shemeshai when the cop started pulling him out the car. And Yahweh Shemeshai did not honor his prayer by delivering him from, being persecuted openly, made a spectacle out of. Another example of the vanity of being a zealot-minded Israelite is Adam Abbott, Nahum, or whatever his name is, the leader of Wi-Fi, getting arrested, okay, and then acting like when he got apprehended by Esau, put in the metal cuffs, he had the audacity to act like that was a noble thing. No, that was a foolish gesture, man. Okay, because Yahushua said, agree with thy adversaries quickly. Okay, but I digress. Romans 13:5 NLT. So you must submit to them, not only to avoid punishment, but also to keep a clear conscience. So we out there, we're not fidgety, looking around, anxious, nervous, because we have a clear conscience. Okay, and what we're doing is righteous, man. Because what we're doing is righteous. It says, pay your taxes. All right, verse 6, pay your taxes too for these same reasons. For government workers need to be paid. They are serving the Most High God, Yahweh Shemashai, and what they do. All right. It's all part of the Yahweh Shemashai's monarchy, if you will. Okay. It's like what's it? I believe it's a monarchy. Okay. As opposed to this it's like I said, I spoke backwards, patriarchy. All right. All right. Monarchy is dealing with women. All right. Advocating women, cleaning heaven, Semiramis worship. All right. The Romans 13:7 NLT. Give to everyone what you owe them, pay your taxes and government fees to those who collect them, and give respect and honor to those who are in authority. That's plain. And this is not a display of that. Okay. Because these, and that's further confirms that it further confirms and exposes the vanity of a zealot minded Israelite, a novice, of not doing the works of an evangelist to the standard of the scriptures as a Yahushai, which is Yahushai, the way through Yahushai. Okay. So back in, I'm going to continue. Matter of fact, let me hit the comment board real quick. All right. Yep, the water. The water, yeah. Matriarchy, the water. Matriarchy, the brother outside. The brother outside put that disclaimer on there for matriarchy, referring to women rulership, catering and pertaining to women rulership. So the water for that. All right, see, I'm going to get some precepts here. All right. The brother Zealot put Philippians 3:2. Beware of dogs. Beware of evil workers. Beware of the concision. Okay, let's get concision. Let's get that word concision here. All right. And Philippians 3:2 real quick. Philippians Salakia. All right. Let me see. Where was I at? Give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and get it here. All right. Philippians 3:2. But actually, you know what I want? Let me go ahead and get it here so I can pull up that word. All right. Philippians 3:2. Yeah, let's go ahead and get that word for concision. All right, yeah, okay. Philippians 3:2. All right, for the entry in the Strong's for concision, G2699. Okay. All right, let's Esau pronounce it.
Strong's G 2699. Katatame. Katatame.
All right, it's going to cutting down. All right, case in point. All right, so let me go back here. All right, let's read this again. Philippians 3:2 from the top. Beware of dogs, beware of evil workers, beware of the concision. All right, going into mutilation and cutting down, and jakes and the circumcision. All right, wicked jakes and the circumcision that are wicked, wolves in sheep's clothing. All right, verse 3. For we are the circumcision, which worship the Most High God, Yahweh by Shemashai in the spirit, and rejoice in Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, and have no confidence in the flesh. That's your pa. I read that again. For we are the circumcision, which worship the Most High God, Yahweh by Shemashai in the spirit, not in the flesh, not in the carnal flesh. Okay? And rejoice in Yahushua HaMashiach and have no confidence in the flesh. And that's plain. Okay? The water in the apart precept. All right? All right, same chapter. All right, in 18, verse 18, for many walk of whom I have told you often, and now tell you even weeping, and they are the enemies of the cross of Hamashiach. Okay. Verse 19 says, whose end is destruction, whose power is their belly, and whose glory is in their shame, who mind earthly things. And the Apocrypha speaks about the contrast of carnal shame and righteous shame. Okay. And we're being shamed for righteousness' sake. You, Jakes, and these wayward t-shirt wearing, t-shirt fringe wearing camps are to suffer the shame of unrighteousness for being dickheads. Okay, just to blatantly express it, man. Philippians 3:20 says, "For our conversation is in heaven, from whence also we look for the Savior, the Lord Yahushua Hamashiach." Our conversation is not down here. That's why, you know what I'm saying, it speaks about that in Colossians, the 3rd chapter. We meditate on things that are above, the things of the heavens, the true divine wisdom, knowledge, understanding from its source. Okay, the spiritual realm. Okay, case in point. Okay, Khan, that's right. That's right. Well, this entire chapter is heavy. A lot of meat there in that chapter. All right. Yep, the water. Yep, that's what I was thinking about. We always saw put it up. Sirach 4:21. For there is a shame that bringeth sin. Oh, gotta read. For there is a shame that bringeth sin. And there is a shame which is glory and grace. That's plain. The water. So we're going to continue. And St. Matthew, back in St. Matthew 16, then jump down to verse 24. It says, then said Yahushua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. It says, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. Okay, and them wicked zealots of Theudas and their leader Judas of Galilee, okay, did not lose their lives for righteousness' sake, but rather carnal wickedness' sake, by pleasing their own belly. Okay, that's why their deaths were not honored by Yahweh by Shem and Shai. When it speaks about the death of the saints being honored by Yahweh by Shem and Shai in the book of Psalm, I believe it is, that only pertains to those of the circumcision of the elect. That does not pertain, to the wicked wolves and sheep clothing of the circumcision. Case in point. So, continuing on to verse 26. For what if a man profit if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul, or what shall a man give in exchange for soul? Okay, when you go about to establish your own righteousness, you can lose yourself, and you can end up really selling your soul. By being a hireling for Esau through that 501c3 charter. Because when I initially looked at this, and I sent the brothers, down here in the GMS Borderlands camp, this video. And I say, you know what, this could very well, this comes across as agent behavior. This was done a year ago and they just reposted it. Why would you repost this? Okay. Anyway, because you have a lot of crept and unaware brothers, okay, in this thing of ours. Because there's prophesied to be a lot of betrayal. Okay. How I spoke about, like Judas Iscariot. Case in point. They give us up to the magistrates before Esau's government. This is St. Matthew 26 and 39. All right, St. Matthew 26 and 39. And I'll read all the way down to verse 56. All right. So it says, he went a little further and fell on his face and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt. So Yahushua was praying to the Heavenly Father Yahweh to let the cup, for the Heavenly Father Yahweh to allow that cup of indignation, okay, to pass from Yahushua. Because because Yahushua to take the burden of the sins of Israel, that brought forward the indignation upon our entire nation, okay, for him to account for through his death, and being that he was in the flesh, okay, and him drawing closer and closer to that hour of his particular temptation, okay, of saying that his darkest hour, he prayed for that cup to be passed from him, okay. So it says in verse 40, and he cometh into the disciples and findeth them asleep, and said unto Peter, what could ye not watch with me 1 hour? It says, watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. Okay, so that's why we're supposed to be circumspect, because that's a trait of the watchman. All right, the modern day seers, overseers, the Israelites on the highways and hedges. It says here in verse 42, he went away again a second time and prayed, saying, "Oh my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me, except I drink it, that will be done." And he came and found them again asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. All right, it says in verse 44, and he left them and went away again and prayed the third time, saying the same words. Then cometh he to his disciples and said unto them, sleep on now and take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. And we're going to be betrayed by hands of sinners, including these, mainly by these crept and unaware brothers. Okay, these hirelings. So it says in verse 46, rise, let us be going. Behold, he is at hand that doth betray me. Okay, it says, and while ye yet spake, lo, Judas, one of the 12, came, and with him a great multitude with swords and staves from the chief priests and elders of the people. Now, this is talking about Judas Iscariot. Okay, it says in verse 48, now he that betrayed him gave them a sign, saying, whomsoever I shall kiss, the same as he, hold him fast. And forthwith he came to Yahushua and said, hail, master, and kissed him. Okay, and Yahushua said unto him, friend, wherefore art thou come? Then came they and laid hands on Yahushua and took him. So after Judas kissed him, they apprehended Yahushua, they arrested him. It says here, and behold, one of them which were with Yahushua stretched out his hand and drew his sword and struck a servant of the high priest and smote off his ear. Now, this is the main point I wanted to get into. Now, this was Apostle Peter who did this. Okay, because it's not a coincidence, because this is King David reincarnated, and that's why he cut that wicked nigga's ear off with a great precision, all right, with great precision, because that's King David. And King David was known, for being the mightiest warrior king of all the history of Israel. Okay, slaying tens of thousands of the heathen. Okay, you know what I'm saying. So continuing on, it says here in verse 52. Then said Yahushua to him, put up again thy sword into this place, like into its place. For all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Thinkest thou that I am... now I want to expand on that point real quick. Yahushua said, then when he said, put up again thy sword into his place. For all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. So this, because that's a revolutionary spirit to be in, okay, which this act of burning the U.S. flag is no exception, is giving off that revolutionary militancy spirit that can further blame the ministry. Okay. So it says here, thinkest thou that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he shall presently give me more than 12 legions of angels? So that he's further rebuking him, you know what I'm saying? He's further rebuking that zealous minded spirit by further, establishing the fact that he could call 12 legions of angels, okay, within the thought of it. So he mean what? He didn't need the carnal sword, okay, to take down Esau's empire, because he didn't come to do that. I mean, he had to enlighten our forefathers of that, okay, that the reprobates of our people did not take heed to, okay. So, all right. Now that's why during the Battle of Masada in 73, that was which ended in 73 AD. You got those zealots that were behind that. Okay, all right, those wicked, carnal-minded zealots. Case in point. All right, so that was a point there in that account. So with that, I'm gonna jump down. I'm gonna go ahead and actually, know what? I'm gonna keep reading. Verse 54. But how then shall the scriptures be fulfilled, that thus it must be? In that same hour, say Yahushua to the multitudes, are ye come out as again a thief with swords and staves for to take me? I sat daily with you teaching in the temple, and ye laid no hold on me. But all this was done that the scriptures of the prophets might be fulfilled. Then all the disciples forsook him and fled, because they were cut to the heart. Okay? Because they didn't want to follow the standard of Yahweh Shem Shah. That's why it was nothing for them to a desire for Yahushua to be persecuted to death. So their position with the Romans wouldn't be compromised. A lot of these Israelites are compromised by that Judas purse because there's nothing new under the sun. All right. So let's go ahead and segue over to St. Luke 11 and begin at verse 49. All right. St. Luke chapter 11 and verse 49. And it reads, "Therefore also said the wisdom of the Most High God, Yahweh Bashem Yashai, I will send them prophets and apostles, and some of them they shall slay and persecute." Okay. It says that the blood of all the prophets which was shed from the foundation of the world may be required of the generation. All right. All right. So some of us are going to die on this side. All right. For the namesake of Yahweh Bashem Yashai. It says in verse 51, from the blood of Abel unto the blood of Zacharias. Okay. Zacharias, Salakia, which perished between the altar and the temple. Verily I say unto you, it shall be required of this generation. It says, woe unto you, lawyers, for ye have taken away the key of knowledge. Ye enter not in yourselves, and them that were entering in ye hindered. Right? It says, and as he said these things unto them, the scribes and the Pharisees began to urge him vehemently, and to provoke him to speak of many things. It says, laying wait for him and seeking to catch something out of his mouth that they might accuse him. And we just read a similar account of that, how they try to accuse Yahushua. We back in our St. Mark and 12th chapter, and he cut him to the heart. Okay, with the scriptures. All right, within the righteous instruction of the scriptures. All right. So those who are looking to accuse us, okay, are going to betray us, okay, of the circumcision. Mainly those hirelings, and that's further how this prophecy is going to take place. Revelation 2 and 10. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, which Esau Edom. All right, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. All right. So, so even those, I'm going to grab this precept real quick. Sirach 4 and 28. Strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yashai shall fight for thee. Okay. And there's a standard of striving for the truth. By striving for the masteries lawfully. Okay. Okay. Things that are the righteous instruction of Yahweh Bashem Yashai. Okay. Including the law of faith. Okay. It is not a public display of exercising the law of faith, all right, with a law of fear, right? In this case, faithlessness, okay, and fear, all right. So, all right. So with that, I'm going to segue over to St. Mark 13, and I'm going to start at verse 9. All right, St. Mark 13 and 9. All right, and it says, but take heed to yourselves, for they shall deliver you up to councils, and in the synagogues ye shall be beaten, and ye shall be brought before rulers and kings for my sake, for testimony against him. And exactly that ended up what happening, okay, to the apostles, all right, in the account that was read in Acts the 5th chapter in the beginning of the lesson, all right, and this is going to happen in this era, okay, to the prophets out there, okay, on the highways and hedges, reincarnated. St. Mark 13 and 10, and the gospel must first be published among all nations. But when they shall lead you and deliver you up, take no thought beforehand what ye shall speak, neither do ye premeditate. But whatsoever shall be given unto you in that hour, that speak ye, for it is not ye that speak, but the Holy Spirit. All right, see how Shai is exhorting us, comforting us in a time of great tribulation. We're being persecuted before the world, before Esau's government, okay, in his courthouses. Okay, Yahweh Bashem Yashai Bashem Kagadash is going to give us the Spirit, okay, the Holy Spirit through our tongues to speak the words, okay, that he intends to further burn these devils up, okay, to condemn them, okay, for touching the men of the Lord, all right, the apple of his eye. It says here in verse 12, now the brother shall betray the brother to death, and the father the son, and the children shall rise up against their parents, and shall cause them to be put to death. So not only, our our inner circle of so-called family members, okay, you're gonna have, men that are closer to us that'll be guilty of this offense, okay, these agents of chaos, these these age provocateurs posing as Israelites of God, Yahweh Bashim Shai, okay, wolves in sheep's clothing, okay, for their own gain. And it's all vanity because look what happened to Judas Iscariot. All right, his guilty conscience set in when he got his shekels of silver, and when he tried to take it back, they mocked him. Okay, so so this is continuing in verse 13. It says, "And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved." Okay, so we're already hated as it is. Why would you want to add fuel to the fire? We're doing folly like this. Okay, so this is Galatians 2 and 4. Because, like I said, all right, to expand on that point of how not only our so-called family members will turn to sin, okay, you're going to have Jakes in the circumcision that would turn to sin. This is Galatians 2 and 4. It says, "And that because of false brethren, unawares brought in, who came in privily to spy out our liberty, which we have in the Mashiach Yahushai, that they might bring us into bondage." Okay, in the lines of Yahushua prophesied in St. Mark, the 13th chapter. Now, these devils, okay, of the circumcision, okay, these wolves in sheep's clothing will accuse us and further bring us to the devil. Okay, the devil, Esau, Edom, to be persecuted to death. Okay, and that's a lot for some of us. Some of us won't die on this side. All right, some of us won't lose our lives on this side. But this is why this is a part of the cost that we're supposed to account. Okay, to consider, because this is a part of our reasonable sacrifice, considering the fact that we could lose our lives on this side, because that's going to happen to some of us. We don't know who that's going to happen to. That's why we're being, we have been rooted on this foundation of the truth, which is Yahweh Bashim Shai, the solid foundation that Yahushua mentioned in St. Matthew, the 7th chapter. If you're not rooted on that solid foundation, okay, then you're going to fold in these last days. Okay, so Revelation 2 and 10. It's Revelation 2 and 10. All right, and it reads, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life." Now, I want this, because this is going to happen, man. Okay, we're gonna, some of us are going to be in a prison, these FEMA camps and so forth. Okay, because speaking of radicalism, saying extremism, saying fascism, being a freedom fighter, being a spirit of being a freedom fighter like Fred Hampton and so forth. Saying once again, that's all part of that revolutionary patriotism madness. Okay, which Esau could use that further against us, mainly against you wayward camps that do this shit. Because Esau, by further correlating that with the terrorism or the guise of terrorism, in Western Asia, the so-called Middle East, that on behalf of Syria, Iran, and the other dragons of Arabia, the Esau is looking to further associate with us. This is why, that we were seeing more of these perpetrators, claim their affiliation with ISIS, which is really of Israeli intelligence. It has nothing to do with the dragons of Arabia and the Muslims. That's Israeli intelligence. That further confirms Amalek of the Edomites are behind that shit. Because they're looking to further associate us with a terrorism and further justify demonizing us, okay, by blaming the ministry. Okay. And what further confirms that is that FBI coded document Project Megiddo, composed back in 1999, 2 years before that event that happened in 2001. Okay, on the 11th day of September. That's another reason why the apostles, have spoken about how they were arrested around that time, because that was all a setup, okay, to further associate us with terrorism. So this is just reprobate novice behavior to indulge in treasonous extremist behavior that can be considered as such, that Esau could further use by correlating with the corresponding with the guise of terrorism to further you justify, demonizing us by blaming the ministry, man. Case in point. Okay. But yet, once again, this is a snare that will not befall the righteous, only the wicked. Okay. Which leads me with this last precept, Revelation 2:11 says, "He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death." And he that overcomes the beast system, okay, through the blood of the Lamb. Okay, it's spoke about in Revelation, the 12th chapter. Okay, that is having faith in Yahweh's sacrifice. Okay, that results in the kingdom of heaven being established. Okay, where our patience and our hope lies in of the things that are written aforetime for our learning. Okay, that will keep us stable in the mind. Okay, that will not entice us to indulge in faithless, display or exhibitions of, folly. Okay, and fear and faithlessness such as this here. Okay, so I'm going to end it off on that note. Pray this epistle is further edifying and exhorting to elect, okay, of Yasharallah, and give all praises, glory, and infinite honor to my power, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whom is God of a living, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Baruch Dash. Okay, if you bless me to street to do this epistle, which I pray is further edifying and exhorting to elect. All right, and the hopeful elect tuning in. All right, and with that, Abba Ball soon and very soon. All right, Shabbat Shalom, Labachayim. Okay, and on to the next one. At the water, for all in attendance, the water, for the precepts and the skill for adding. All right, and the charity. All right, Yahweh Ba'Shem Mashak Rashai, Barakatham, Shabbat Shalom, and on to the next one.